Are you performing your pre- and post-trip inspections daily? Do you know what must be inspected and how to inspect it? Data from the Michigan State Police Fatal Accident Complaint Team shows that vehicles with a history of poor maintenance, such as brake violations, are more likely to be involved in a collision. Hi, I'm Todd Carrier with Protective Insurance Company. In this video, we'll teach you how to properly inspect your vehicle and discuss ways to prevent common injuries. Inspecting your vehicle before and after you operate it is the best way to identify worn or damaged parts before they break and will help you determine when maintenance is needed. This is crucial to maintaining your vehicle properly and will help to avoid collisions and costly violations. Every pre-trip inspection should begin with verifying that you have your vehicle registrations and all of the proper documentation for your load. You should make sure that you have your CDL and medical card and that these are not expired. You should also have your glasses or hearing aids if you have restrictions on your license. Ensure your logs are up to date and that you have the logs for the last 7 days. You will need to have these documents if you are involved in a CVSA inspection. This procedure should be followed for any vehicle you drive, but the procedure for the actual vehicle inspection will differ slightly by vehicle type. This video will teach you how to inspect straight trucks, tractor trailers, and flatbeds. Let's begin with inspecting a straight truck. The inspection begins while you are approaching the vehicle. Many roadside inspections are initiated due to the vehicle's appearance. You should walk around the vehicle and note any damaged body panels and missing or damaged license plates. You should also identify and correct any improper placards or unit numbers. Look under the vehicle for evidence of leaking fluids or oil and broken parts. Look to see if the vehicle is leaning and determine why if it is. Make sure that you are aware of your surroundings while inspecting your vehicle and pay attention to vehicles that may drive close to you. You should then move to the cab of the vehicle. DOT regulations require 3 reflective triangles or enough liquid burning flares to mark the vehicle at all 3 required locations for as long as the vehicle is stopped. The DOT also requires spare electrical fuses and at least 1 5BC or 2 4BC fire extinguishers in the cab. A 10BC extinguisher is required for hazmat loads. These extinguishers should be fully charged and securely mounted in the cab. All of these items should easily be accessible in the case of an emergency. You also need a copy of the vehicle's periodic inspection report, a valid registration for the vehicle, current copies of state road and fuel tax permits, and a copy of the vehicle lease agreement with vehicle receipts. After these items have been located, start the engine and check all warning lights and gauges. You should then make sure the parking brake is set to check to see if your mirrors are adjusted correctly. Check the steering wheel to make sure there is no more than 2 to 2 3/4 inches of play on manual steering, and no more than 4.5 to 5 3/4 inches of play for power steering systems. Next, turn on the lights and 4-way flashers. You should then turn off the engine and move the key to the on position. Now, walk around the vehicle to check that all of your lights are working. After checking the lights, you should stop at the front driver's side corner of the vehicle to check the wheel, tire, brakes, and suspension. Inspect the tire for any cuts or bulges on both sidewalls and look for uneven tread wear. The tread on the front tires should be at least 4/32 of an inch deep and can be measured with a quarter. If the top of Washington's head is covered, you have at least 4/32 tread. You should also use a pressure gauge to check for proper inflation. Ensure the wheel bearing cap is securely fastened and there are no lubricant leaks. Inspect the wheel for loose or missing lug nuts, cracks, and bent rims. When inspecting the suspension, Check the leaf springs and hangers for cracks and broken or missing parts. Make sure the shock absorber is securely attached and there are no fluid leaks. Check the tie rod ends for signs of wear or play. Inspect the drum or rotor for signs of excessive wear and check the pads to make sure they are not too thin. Check the brake lines for leaks, chafing, swelling, and crimping. If you can find someone to help you, verify that the slack adjuster is properly adjusted. If the push rod travel exceeds 2 inches, the slack adjuster is likely out of adjustment. The front of the vehicle should be inspected next. Make sure the front license plate is legible and securely mounted to the vehicle. Verify that the windshield is clean and free of cracks. If any crack intersects with another crack or are larger than 3/4 inches in diameter, the windshield must be replaced. Discoloration or damage in the line of vision also requires that the windshield be replaced. Tinting must allow at least 70% of normal light through. Objects in the cab and stickers must not block your line of vision. Check both windshield wipers to make sure they are securely fastened and in good condition. Open the hood and check the engine for any signs of leaks. Check the oil, brake fluid, and coolant for contamination, but be aware that these fluids may be hot. Do not remove the radiator cap to check the coolant. Look through the coolant overflow tank to see any discoloration. Make sure the hood is secure with no loose fasteners or large cracks. Replace any dim or shorting bulbs and any broken, cracked, or loose lenses immediately. You should then move to the front passenger side of the vehicle and perform the same checks to the tire, wheel, brakes, and suspension that you did on the driver's side. Inspect the belly boxes, spare tire carrier, frame, and cross members for any damaged or broken welds. Make sure the belly box doors shut securely. Check the exhaust system for signs of damage or leaks, and look for any electrical wires or air lines that may be touching the exhaust. You should also make sure the exhaust is not touching the frame. Follow any air and fuel lines, as well as electrical wires, to ensure they are properly secured and undamaged. When you get to the passenger side rear wheels, you should inspect the wheels and tires just as you did the front of the vehicle. The tread depth on the rear tires should be at least 2/32 of an inch. You can measure this with a penny. If Lincoln's head is partially covered by the tread when you place the penny in one of the grooves, you have at least 2/32 of an inch of tread. If your vehicle has air suspension, you should check each bag for leaks or uneven inflation. Inspect the suspension bushings for signs of excessive wear or play. For leaf spring suspension, inspect the leaf springs and hangers for cracks and broken or missing parts. Inspect the shocks to make sure they are securely attached and there are no fluid leaks. You should also check your mud flaps to ensure they are securely attached and no more than 6 inches off the ground. Inspect the brakes on your vehicle's rear axle by checking the drums or rotors for signs of excessive wear and checking the pads to make sure they are not too thin. Check the brake lines for leaks, chafing, swelling, and crimping. You should then continue walking to the rear of the vehicle. Look at the general condition of the vehicle and note any damage. Check the door latches and make sure the rear doors shut securely. The DOT bumper should not be loose or excessively bent. Any damaged welds on the bumper must be repaired. There must be a strip of reflective tape along the bottom bar, reflective tape in inverted L shapes on the top corners of the cargo box, and a strip of reflective tape along the mud flap brackets. As you continue to make your way around the vehicle, stop at the driver's side rear wheels and perform the same checks to the wheels, tires, brakes, and suspension. Now, return to the cab of your vehicle and check the brake system. For hydraulic brakes, apply firm pressure to the brake pedal and hold for 5 seconds while the engine is running. The pedal should not depress any further during those 5 seconds. If the vehicle is equipped with a hydraulic brake system or backup system, with the key off, Depress the brake pedal and listen for the sound of the reserve system electric motor. With the ignition on, ensure the brake system warning buzzer and light are off. Check the service brake operation by slowly moving the vehicle forward around 5 miles per hour and firmly apply the brake. You should note any pulling to one side, unusual feel, or delayed stopping. For air brakes, verify the parking brake works properly by engaging the system, shifting into a low gear, and gently pulling against the brakes. Then, chock the vehicle's wheels and allow the compressor to build air pressure. Around 120 psi is typical. Turn off the engine and release the parking brake. Watch the air pressure gauge and time the pressure drop. After the initial drop, the pressure loss should be no more than 2 psi per minute. Now, hold the brake pedal down and watch the pressure gauge while listening for air leaks. You should not lose more than 3 psi of pressure per minute. Turn the key to the on position without starting the engine and repeatedly pump the brake pedal to reduce the air tank pressure. The low air warning signal should come on when the air pressure drops below 60 psi. Keep pumping the brakes until the parking brake button pops out. This should occur between 40 and 20 psi and indicates the spring brakes are now working. Start the engine and time how quickly the air compressor builds pressure. At 1800 RPM, the compressor should build between 85 and 100 psi within 45 seconds. After the air pressure is restored to normal levels, release the parking brake and slowly move the vehicle forward at 5 miles per hour. Apply the brakes firmly and note any pulling to one side, unusual feel, or delayed stopping. The daily inspections for a tractor-trailer are only slightly different than those for a straight truck. To inspect a tractor-trailer, observe the general condition of the vehicle and complete a walk-around following the same steps you would use to inspect a straight truck. Be sure to check all of your lights, reflectors, and reflective tape. You should always check every wheel, tire, brake, and suspension part as you walk around the vehicle. When you come to the back of the cab, and before you get in to test the brakes, ensure the air and electrical connections to the trailer are securely fastened and suspended so they are not touching any part of the deck plate or tractor frame. Also, look to see that you have reflective tape in the inverted L shapes at the top corners of the back of the cab. You can now get in the cab and test the brakes using the same procedure for a straight truck. A tractor-trailer with air brakes should only lose 3 psi per minute or less with the engine off, and only 4 psi or less per minute while the brake pedal is being held down. If your trailer is equipped with ABS, be sure to watch for the ABS light to come on briefly when you supply air to the trailer. If the light does not come on or it stays on, there is an ABS system fault that must be repaired. When inspecting a straight truck or tractor-trailer with a flatbed, be sure to check the decking for damage and ensure that all of your chains and straps are in good working condition. If you are carrying any freight, inspect your chains and straps to make sure the load is properly secured. For box or cargo vans driven as commercial vehicles, the vehicle inspections are similar to a straight truck. Make note of the general appearance of the vehicle. Ensure that you have all of your paperwork. Locate the emergency equipment in your vehicle and make sure it's properly secured. Again, check the front, rear, and sides of the vehicle, inspecting all lights, reflectors, wheels, tires, brakes, and suspension parts. And don't forget to test the brakes. DOT regulations require a pre-trip and post-trip inspection daily. Don't forget to check the fifth wheel for excessive wear, loose parts, or cracks. Ensure the jaws are securely locked around the kingpin. Remember to complete your post-trip inspection and document any mechanical defects on the back of the daily log form. Sign the log form when you are finished. If you were off duty the day before, check the box "No inspection performed, off duty." Time spent inspecting the vehicle should be entered as on-duty, not driving time on your logs. You should always review the previous post-trip inspection before you complete your pre-trip inspection, so you can verify that any defects have been repaired. The Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, or CVSA, publishes commercial vehicle maintenance and inspection standards that are used by most enforcement agencies. There are 3 main levels of inspections. Level 3 inspections are inspections of the driver only. The inspector will look at your driver's license, medical card, vehicle registration, inspection reports, daily logs, and any other related documents. Level 2 inspections include an inspection of the driver and a walk around the vehicle. Anything that can be inspected without getting under the vehicle will likely be reviewed. Level 1 inspections are full inspections of the driver and the vehicle. The inspector will thoroughly inspect all of the systems on the vehicle as well as the driver. Hundreds of inspections are performed every day, and your chances of being inspected are affected by several factors, including your carrier's past inspection performance. Your safety record and your fleet's safety record are impacted by your inspection performance. Positive inspections result in a decrease in inspection frequency for your entire fleet and improve your carrier's vehicle maintenance scores. But negative inspections impact the entire fleet as well. Inspections are important to maintaining your vehicle and safety records, but maintaining yourself is also important. You should make sure that you get an adequate amount of sleep and you are well rested before driving. You should have a balanced diet and avoid fatty or sugary foods whenever possible. This will help you maintain your body weight and will also help with fatigue. Exercising can give you more energy, make you feel better, and strengthen your body so you are less likely to feel fatigued or be injured. Taking time to seek medical attention when you need it is also very important for your well-being, and medical conditions are often treated easier when they are detected early. Driver behaviors are often the cause of CSA violations and injuries. Modifying your behaviors can help you avoid injuries and costly citations. Always follow OSHA and FMCSA standards. These standards are designed to keep you safe and should not be disregarded due to time. Make sure your cab is clean and organized. Secure any loose items that may roll under your pedals or fall when you drive. Don't forget to drive defensively. Do not speed and always maintain a proper following distance. Know how to calculate a safe following distance and do not take chances. Be aware of poor weather and do not risk driving in unsafe conditions. Always wear your seatbelt and avoid backing whenever possible. Slips and falls are common injuries in the trucking industry. Avoid these injuries by always maintaining 3 points of contact whenever you enter or exit your vehicle. Wearing slip-resistant shoes, keeping your shoes in good condition, and being aware of your surroundings will also help you avoid slips and falls. Always use safe lifting techniques, including lifting with your legs rather than your back, using mechanical aids when available, and get help when necessary. These behaviors will help to keep you safe and avoid missing work due to injuries. This concludes our Safety Solutions video on pre-trip inspections. For more safety and risk management resources, visit our website at protectiveinsurance.com and click on Loss Prevention. And remember, there's always time for safety.